My dear students, today let us try to learn about the hormonal control of reproduction. That means endocrine control of reproduction. Reproduction is a very complex process. This is especially true in case of mammals. The process of reproduction in mammals includes copulation. That means it requires a sexual urge for the process of intercourse. That means it requires a set of reproductive behavior followed by fertilization, implantation, gestation, and parturition, etc. And all these rhythmic activities are under the control of various endocrine glands. Many endocrine glands participate in controlling the reproductive behavior in case of mammals. In all mammals, including human being, reproduction is influenced by hormones that are secreted from hypothalamus, pituitary gland, gonads, and placenta. Hypothalamus is the chief regulator of reproductive behavior because hypothalamus controls libido, that is sexual urge. It produces releasing and inhibitory factors. The releasing factors that are produced from hypothalamus will trigger the synthesis and release of various gonadotropins, whereas the inhibitory factors released by the hypothalamus will inhibit the secretion and synthesis of gonadotropins. Gonadotropic releasing hormone that is secreted from hypothalamus exerts influence on both testes and ovaries. And this gonadotropic releasing hormone triggers the release of follicle stimulating hormone and LH, luteinizing hormone. The mammalian ovaries contain certain follicles called Graafian follicles which contain the ova at different maturing stages. And this Graafian follicle development is controlled by FSH. And along with the luteinizing hormone, this FSH also influences the process of ovulation. What is ovulation means? The matured ova comes to the margin of the follicle and this follicle gets ruptured, releasing the ova. And this release of ovum is called ovulation. And this process of ovulation is synchronized by the activity of follicle stimulating hormone and also LH, luteinizing hormone. And these FSH and LH are polypeptide hormones, both stimulate gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is nothing but the production of male and female gametes, namely spermatozoa and ova. LH is also called interstitial cell stimulating hormone. And these interstitial cells are present within the testes, and there are certain cells called Leydig cells of testes, and this hormone, namely ICSH or LH, will stimulate the Leydig cells of testes to produce one androgen, namely testosterone. And this testosterone is responsible for the development of male secondary sexual characters, about which we will list out in subsequent slides. Gonads secrete steroid hormones. And let us go back to the previous slide. For example, I told that here the FSH is responsible for the development of the Graafian follicle, and along with the surge of LH, it is also stimulating the process of ovulation. Once the ovulation takes place, the ovum that is released will reach the fallopian tube and it waits there for the counterpart, namely spermatozoa. The spermatozoa, once it reaches the fallopian tubes, it unites with the female counterpart, namely ovum, and this process is called fertilization. Once the fertilization has taken place, it needs implantation. It needs to be implanted in the uterus. Before the implantation of this fertilized zygote, that means the fertilized ovum, namely zygote, the uterus should be properly prepared to receive this zygote. Uterus should be prepared for the further development of the baby during the process of gestation period. And exactly here, the endocrine gland that is temporarily formed from the ruptured Graafian follicle will come to the rescue of the baby. And once the Graafian follicle gets ruptured, releasing ovum into the body, into the fallopian tube, of course, this Graafian follicle now gets converted into one temporary endocrine gland called corpus luteum. So, what is corpus luteum? Corpus luteum is the temporary endocrine gland that is formed from the ruptured Graafian follicle expecting pregnancy and expecting fertilization. And this corpus luteum functions as a temporary endocrine gland, and it secretes one hormone called progesterone. This progesterone is responsible for preparing the uterus for pregnancy. That means the endometrial lining within the uterus, that means it prepares a cushion like structure within the uterus in order to receive the baby, so that external shocks will not reach the fetus or the embryo. This arrangement of endometrium lining is made by the progesterone that is secreted from the temporary endocrine gland, namely corpus luteum. And this progesterone is also responsible for maintenance of pregnancy. Without progesterone, the pregnancy can't be maintained and it may result in the abortion. That is the reason why this progesterone is also called anti-abortion hormone. Apart from preparing the uterus for pregnancy, it is also responsible, this progesterone is also responsible for the development of breast, that means the mammary gland. So that is how the corpus luteum acts as a temporary endocrine gland in mammals. And progesterone also have a better play in the process of menstrual cycle and the events associated with the menstrual cycle. And like that, gonads secrete steroid hormones. Of course, even progesterone is also a steroid hormone. But there are two important steroid hormones that play a vital role in the process of reproduction, along with the progesterone, of course. And these two hormones are, one is male sex hormone, namely testosterone, and another one is female sex hormone, namely estrogen. And male sex hormones are collectively known as androgens. Female sex hormones are collectively known as estrogens. And progestins are nothing but the progesterone like hormones. Androgens, as the name indicates, induce male secondary sexual characters, whereas progestins, including progesterone, prepares the uterus for pregnancy by laying the endometrial lining within the uterus. Estrogen induce female secondary sexual characters. And of course, androgens are also released not only by testes, of course, androgens are also released by adrenal cortex. And these androgens secreted by adrenal cortex are called sex corticoids. And of course, coming to the action of follicle stimulating hormone, this follicle stimulating hormone stimulates sperm production even in male. It combines with LH, luteinizing hormone, and it is responsible, that means this combined activity of FSH and luteinizing hormone is responsible for the process of ovulation, as I already mentioned. And testosterone is the principal male hormone, and FSH hormone is inhibited by inhibin, and this is responsible for, that means testosterone and FSH both are responsible for the development of testis and sperm production. And it is also responsible for descending of testis during 8th and 9th month of development of the baby. And enlargement of testis is also done by this follicle stimulating hormone. That means if there is no follicle stimulating hormone, The primordial germinal epithelium that is lining the testis will not function properly, then this deficiency of FSH may hinder the normal functioning of the testis, of course. And this testosterone is also responsible for pitched male voice. That means there is coarseness in the voice of a male, that is because of testosterone. If there is any male where there is less secretion of testosterone, that person may develop, although he may be a male, he will develop a feminine voice. And testosterone also is also responsible for distribution of facial hair like mustache and beard, and it induces masculine muscle development like six pack structure, eight pack structure, V shaped body, like that. And if sometimes if the person experiences a shortage of testosterone, he has to be given exogenous testosterone. And coming to the hormonal action of ovary, ovary is the gonad that is present in the female human beings or female mammals. And all the hormones, all the female hormones secreted from the ovary are collectively known as estrogens. And estradiol is one of the vital estrogen, of course. And this estrogens are responsible for the growth of breast along with the complementary action of the progesterone, of course. That means growth of mammary glands is induced by these estrogens. That means we have seen that there are two important hormones, namely progesterone and estrogens, that play active role in building up the muscle tissue in the mammary gland. But only the construction of mammary tissue is not sufficient. This mammary gland should produce, should manufacture, should synthesize the milk. And milk will be synthesized only in the presence of prolactin, which is another pituitary hormone. So we can say that prolactin is a lactogenic hormone that is responsible for the synthesis of the milk within the mammary gland. That means here the breast tissue or mammary gland tissue is developed by the collective and complementary action of progesterone and estrogen, but the production of milk is accomplished, achieved by prolactin, which is a lactogenic hormone. And ejection of milk from the mammary gland, ejection of milk from the breast is influenced by the oxytocin. So like that, milk production and mammary gland construction and milk ejection are under the control of various set of hormones, of course. So apart from this, apart from such activities, estrogen is also responsible for the growth of uterus and vaginal lining. And estrogens influence the feminine voice nature. That means estrogen is responsible for high pitched female voice. And ovarian and menstrual cycles are always under the control of estrogen, progesterone, like that. So it is a synchronous activity of various hormones, especially the steroid hormones, sex hormones, under which all the phases of reproduction will just come one after another. So as I already told, FSH and LH are actively involved in the process of gametogenesis, and especially LH participates in ovulation and formation of corpus luteum, which is nothing but a temporary endocrine gland. It also acts on Leydig cells which produce testosterone. FSH stimulates the growth of supporting cells, namely Sertoli cells. This is very important point. Sertoli cells are the nourishing cells that are present in the testis. The secretions of the Sertoli cells are useful for nourishment of the spermatozoa. In the absence of Sertoli cells, that means if the Sertoli cells are not properly stimulated, the spermatozoa will not get sufficient nourishment. As a result, they will not be motile, they will not be active. And even ovarian and menstrual cycles in humans are under the control of hormones. In ovarian cycle, there are three phases, namely follicular phase, where the Graafian follicle will develop properly, giving scope for the development of various stages of ova. Ovulation is nothing but the release of matured ova. And luteal phase, that means post ovulation phase, is called luteal phase, where corpus luteum is formed and progesterone is released. And follicular phase starts with release of FSH, and this includes growth of Graafian follicle. One follicle grows more prominently, and this growing follicle produces estrogen, of course. Ovulation is triggered by LH. I told that the sudden surge in LH, luteinizing hormone, is responsible for the release of ovum, which is nothing but ovulation. Graafian follicle is a fluid-filled cavity, of course, which contains various stages of ova, various developing stages of ova. Here you can see these various phases in the menstrual cycle in the diagram displayed in the right side. Luteal phase. Luteal phase includes the formation of corpus luteum and secretion of progesterone. And corpus luteum is a temporary endocrine gland, as I already told, and it is a sac-like glandular structure. Corpus luteum is a sac-like glandular structure. It produces estrogen along with progesterone. And uterine cycle or menstrual cycle is another cycle which includes proliferative phase, secretory phase, and menstrual phase. And here you can see at the midday of menstrual cycle, exactly in the middle of the menstrual cycle, on the 14th day, ovulation takes place. And this ovulation can be identified and diagnosed by the increase in body temperature slightly during that particular day. So this is about the different phases of menstrual cycle, which is also called uterine cycle. Proliferative phase is represented by thickening of endometrium, increased rate of cell division, growth of endometrial glands, enlargement of arteries. All these factors will prepare the uterus for accommodating the baby. Secretory phase, endometrial glands secrete a nutritive fluid, and in menstrual phase what is happening, the endometrium that is being laid down expecting pregnancy will be shed because the fertilization has not taken place. And one scientist described the menstrual flow as the weeping of uterus. He told that uterus is literally weeping because the fertilization has not taken place. And during this process of menstrual phase, the endometrial lining that is formed inside the uterus will be simply peeled off, and it comes out along with the menstrual blood. So that is called menstrual flow. Both ovarian and menstrual cycles stop after 450 cycles, of course. And there is one more hormone called human chorionic gonadotropin, which is secreted by extra embryonic chorionic tissue. That means extra embryonic chorionic tissue secretes human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, and this HCG, that means the presence of human chorionic gonadotropin proves pregnancy. So that is how the various hormones influence the process of gametogenesis, preparation of uterus, construction of mammary gland, production of milk, ejection of milk, and this ejection of milk is under the guidance of oxytocin, implantation, and ovarian cycles and menstrual cycles. So thank you very much.